Morning guys, Karen Langston here from Parents & Co. I hope you all had a good weekend. A beautiful sunny Monday morning, so I hope the week ahead's much the same. Definitely helps, I think, with it definitely helps with my well-being when I see the sun shining and at least I can get outside for some walks and the weather's bright. So another week. This week I'm actually going to do my lives on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so at 10:30. So I hope you can join me. I've got a little topic to talk about on each of the days. Today I'm just going to chat to you, and they're things that come up from questions of parents that I talk to through my one-to-one session. So today I'm going to talk to you about, it's a weaning question of which meal to introduce first. And then on Wednesday, sorry I keep looking down, but I made a note so I don't forget. On Wednesday I'm going to be talking about bath time with two. That was a question that popped up last week with a family. And on Friday I'm going to be talking about periods of change, so illness, teething, you know, the effects that has on sleep. So I hope you'll join me. I'm really excited as well because on Thursday at around, I think it's 2 o'clock, I'm joining up with a local music company, babies. Oh, listen to me waffling here. It's Heartbeeps. Let's just start with it. Heartbeeps music group. A lovely lady local to me runs a few groups, and she asked me if I'd kind of team up with her on Thursday, and we're going to be chatting, or I'm going to be chatting about sleep to some of the mummies who come along to her group. So I'm really excited about that because it's really nice to be able to support mums that you know, need some tips and suggestions, you know, in this challenging time. So yeah, so a busy week, and I've got other things kind of going on as well. So I hope everybody else has a good week. But today I'm chatting about which meal should we introduce first to our little ones once we start weaning. So I suggest that you start with kind of the lunchtime meal first. And again, this really depends on, you know, your situation. If you've got a toddler kind of running around and you want to introduce the first meal to your baby, it may not be ideal to do it at lunchtime because it's quite a busy time, because you do want to be quite calm the first time. Well, you do definitely want to be calm the first time you introduce a meal, some tastes to your little one. So, you know, choose a time of day that is good for you, but I would always suggest earlier in the day. So because little ones, just in case, particularly, you know, you're starting to introduce foods to them, you know, they may have a slight reaction. It's not often, but they might have a slight reaction to food. So you want to be able to give them time to digest it. And if they are going to react, it's earlier in the day. So I tend to say, you know, around 11:30 I tend to find is quite a nice time, because it's normally just before they're going down for their afternoon sleep. And particularly, you know, we're talking about little ones that are kind of, you know, around 6 months. So, you know, their afternoon sleep, fingers crossed, normally tends to be their longest sleep. So, you know, if they are that kind of age, giving them a little bit of food can sometimes help with that little sleep, that nap. But if you've got a little one, equally, if you've got a little one with quite a sensitive tummy, maybe they're a refluxy baby, then actually I'd probably suggest doing it earlier than lunchtime. So actually they, again, have got time to digest that, and it may not interfere with that lunchtime sleep. But really it's kind of, you know, looking to kind of like see what's the best time for you. Once you've introduced one meal to your baby, then, and they seem absolutely fine on the foods that you've introduced, then I would say to start offering them, you know, a dinner meal as well. But I would always keep new foods to kind of lunchtime, or if you're doing breakfast, then I'd offer those new foods at that particular time. Again, you know, you don't want them to be given a food that they might slightly react to, or it kind of unsettles their tummy just before them going to bed. So it's very much kind of based around kind of what works for you and your family. And that first time that you introduce that first meal, it is literally about, you know, offering them some tastes. So, you know, if you've gone with finger foods, you know, because you want to do baby-led weaning and they're 6 months, you know, literally what I tend to find is they just pick up foods and they just squish it in their little fingers. And that is all part of, you know, the process of learning and having that experience, you know, that the sensory kind of development of touch. And they might smell it and just put their fingers to their mouth. Absolutely fine. But if you've decided to do a little bit of maybe combination feeding, so you're doing more kind of like, you know, thickish purees, again, they might, the first few times, they might just take a few teaspoons of that food. And again, that's absolutely fine. They will very quickly start building up the amount that they're taking. But just going back to when should you, which meal should you start with first? You know, as I said, I find the first meal that gets introduced tends to be around kind of lunchtime, and I would definitely stick to the earlier part of the day. If lunchtime doesn't work for you, absolutely fine, you can do it earlier than that, and I'd kind of say morning. Again, because by around 6 months, if you're doing, you know, weaning at that time, you know, their morning sleep cycle tends to be, you know, the shorter nap anyway of the day. So, you know, if they are going to be a little bit disrupted by having some food, that's absolutely fine. But once they've started to really enjoy that first meal that you're giving them, then, you know, particularly if you've waited till 6 months, you can very quickly start introducing, you know, other foods to them, and definitely kind of giving them a dinner as well. So I hope that has given you some tips and suggestions on when to introduce their first meal. I will see you on Wednesday, and I hope quite a few of you can join me, where we'll be talking about how to manage bath time with two, which lots of mummies with a new baby find really tricky, trying to kind of like manage that bathing the toddler, and then what do you do with the baby? So, you know, if you're not feeling kind of confident at that point of putting them in the bath together. So, yeah, I hope you have a really good day, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye for now.